Welcome everyone to another Buzz Slayers interview. Today, excuse me, today we are here with Will Glazier of Grand Alliance Music. Welcome, Will. Thank you again, dude.
Absolutely.
Really super appreciate you taking the time. You got a grand piano back there. Is that a junior grand?
Absolutely. Look at that.
Oh,
I thought
dude.
I thought
You'd pop that in the background?
I thought I'd venture out of the basement for a little. Thought I'd venture out of the bedroom for a little bit for this interview.
That's badass, dude. I love it. Oh my god, that goes to show right where your head's at. Very musical, obviously. So I wanted to talk to you. I mean, you guys have like a great roster of artists. A lot of your guys. So Grand Alliance Music, from what I know, and you can help me out a little bit with this. You and Ben have been friends. How long have you and Ben been friends?
That's a good question. A couple years, a few years. We've been, I don't know what you would consider friends. We've known about each other for several years. We've been working as close friends for a couple of 2 to 3 years. But it seems like everybody knows each other in the scene in passing. But yeah, we've been really good friends. I don't take the word friend lightly, I guess, is what I mean. But he's a great friend. He's a very good friend. He's a good friend in my life.
He's definitely a partner in crime, so to speak. And and so you as Will the Beast and him as Buttons, you guys, did you start collaborating? So Grand Alliance is just so everyone understands, Grand Alliance is like it's hard to explain. It's like a label to an extent. You guys are putting out, bringing people onto your roster, releasing music, but it's also massive amounts of collaborations and a community-based thing too. Like you said on the site, it's kind of like a tribe, you know what I mean? And it's a very, very cool. Everything that you get the deeper you dig into Grand Alliance is you get everything feels so positive. Everything is such a positive outflow of creativity and fluctuation. So between you and Ben, you guys started, technically you picked it up in 2023. You were like, hey, what if we do this? Did that start as just collaborating musically and then grew from there?
Yeah, man. Like, truly, it's like he was some random message on SoundCloud, or maybe I have it wrong. Like I could be like, maybe I was some random message on him. I think that was actually the case in point. Like, I think I commented on his mix or something. I was like, this is dope, but whatever the case is, that we became this weird internet duo, and he became, and his story just came out on his album actually just yesterday, I think. Where is he? No, he should be joining us soon maybe, but his album just dropped on Grand Alliance Music yesterday, and it was this huge moment, this like culmination of everything. But it's called Rebirth, and he came out of rehab, and I think he was messaging me during all of this like struggle in his life, and he fell off for like over a year. So that's what I mean. He was just like this blip in time, and I actually met him when I was on tour with Menard. I mean, all these weird things. Like, so that's what I mean. Like, what would you consider, like in 2017, like and say like we met each other. That's the only time I even met him. Like, it's like I like played in Michigan with when I was in a band as Will the Beast and Menard. But it's there's so much history there. You know what I mean? And so but yes. And so when I had this album come out, I asked him to remix it because he wasn't putting stuff out. He was just putting these random remixes out that I was like, why are you not putting things out? So he remixed my stuff out because I knew it would come out. And he had this official song out. It was the only stuff was coming out was his official remixes of me. And so eventually I was like, dude, you're putting a song out. And we made a record label. It was almost like not a joke. That's the wrong thing to say, but it grew and it grew and it grew. And eventually, like, we had submissions, and we had, because why do something and do it half-assed almost, it's like, so we, not that we're beating ourselves over the, back, but it's like, we take things, semi-seriously. We want to do things, wholeheartedly is I think the right way to put it. Like,
I like that.
It's like because like, I don't know, man. It's like, because we put so much like effort and energy into the back end, you know, the music making of it. Like, why let it fall apart and disintegrate? Like when you're doing it all on the front. And so we've been there. We've been on both sides as artists, and so as on that you know, that second half, it's tough sometimes. And so when you find those special connections and those special meanings and those relationships, and yeah, that is how it started. And
that is why this is super cool. And that's why I wanted to do this with you, because not just as artists and stuff, but I think people want to know more about how to do this successfully. And the answer to that I'm getting from you is you don't do it for anything else but the love of doing it, the love of the craft. And you know what I mean? Like pushing things out for positivity, pushing things out for creation purposes, because it's something that you need to do as humans to create.
Oh, 100%. You know? Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no denying that, you know.
It's amazing. It's outstanding. And so, so Interlock 27, that's just came out like pretty recently, like last week or this week. That's an outstanding track. And I think that I have not checked out the album yet, the Buttons album.
Yeah, it's a waterfall, you know, release into the album. So it was kind of like a really quick thing into this whole album. So it was really quick into that, which just came out yesterday. And the other two or three tracks, including an intro, all just dropped. And man, it might blow your mind, because there's a couple other almost like down tempo tracks and super almost spacey kind of yeah, man. It's really a very well-rounded album. He took it somewhere. It's beautiful.
Does he have other collaborations on the record?
No, yeah, there's one other with Wintler, who's from Washington, actually, which ironically I need to link up with that human. And then I don't know where he's been. And then another one's just him on his own too. And then there's an intro, which there's an unnamed collaborate on there too. No, there's just an intro into the whole album too. But I helped him. I encouraged him to do the intro. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So do you kind of like oversee all the stuff that comes out?
Yeah.
You got your hands full.
Oh yeah, man, dude. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So like so do you do like the planning, like the waterfall release planning? You do all this shit. See, that's the cool thing, is you're treating it you know, like I said, it's for the love of doing it, obviously, but you also have a certain kind of brain on you where you're like, okay, well, I want to do this right. Like you said, why half-ass it? You're going to do it right. And that's why it's working also, because it's got the push just from the love of creation, of doing it.
Yeah.
And from the community. And you know what I mean? The heart, that's the heart of it. You know what I mean? Like you're like the heart of this whole thing. And then you also have the brain side. It's true. You have the brain side also that's kind of like, okay, well, I want to do it right too. So I want to make sure we waterfall this a little bit and then put the big thing out. And you kind of know how to gain traction with the stuff that you're doing. You know, the Garlic Party release, like I said, the Garlic Party release track that I listened to, you know, a bit earlier on, I think it was a few months back. That was a banger of a track, and that kind of blew me away. I listened to some of your stuff. I listened to a bunch of Buttons stuff, you know, because you have it all on the site, and you guys have this, you know, this roster, you know, of artists. I have it pulled up. You have like this roster of one was really good too.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, and Yila was good. There's like, you just, yeah. Oh, what was the name? Intuition is the song from one. Is it Intuition? Yeah. That track was
that one
insane. I love that.
Halo in January, and we've been doing like one a month. And next month we what's that?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to catch up.
Oh, I was just saying. I mean, yeah. Next month we've got not to ruin anything, but yeah, we've got like a huge compilation coming out again. We've got like a volume 2 coming out from last year. We had Numinous. Next month we're having a volume 2 come out. So next month, yeah, it'll be huge. I mean, yeah. So I mean, we've got a lot in the works.
Yeah, I listened to a bunch of volume 1.
Yeah,
there was tons and tons of stuff on that record. I mean,
like it's same kind of thing vibe. Like volume 2, like I don't know, it's something I just can't put down. It's like, and it's that same kind of thing you're describing. It's like that curation process where I don't know, it's just, oh man. And then I know that something special is going to come from that too. And even still being said, you know, yeah, there's a lot in that planning department. But not that I'm doing it all myself or anything. You know, there's a lot of credit to be said, you know, to Ben, and there's a ton of other hands out there too. But because there is, I mean, there's a collective mentality, and it's a team effort, and yes, it's, you know, it is. There's, like you mentioned in the forefront, there's so much of that give and take, and that I mean, there's so much of that, you know. It doesn't just come down to me by any means, but I think that without that, you know, because I was going to make that, you know, I think there's that real kind of connection there too, because I was going to make a very similar analogy too, where I was going to say, you know, it's almost more like where I'm, you know, running the business, where I'm, you know, inside the body, like almost like the spine, you know, or where, and then Ben's filling it in like the tissues or the muscles, or, you know,
right.
like in, you know, intrinsic stuff where he's got to kind of running the data. But yes, you need to have that driving force, or else it's very easy for it to run off the tracks, even with several voices, because there's nowhere to go, you know?
Yeah, because you love what you're doing so much. The heart part of it is really what pushes you to be like, all right, let's do this. It keeps you going. It's not like you're making millions off of this stuff, dude. You're sitting, it's for the love of doing it. That's the most important lesson to be learned, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and that's truly it too. You know, it's like I've spent years, you know, since I was a boy trying to, you know, make music and figure this out, you know, and that's the real answer. And then I spent my, you know, teens and 20s, like, you know, on the road touring, and 30s and then beyond, trying to make the balance of that, like, because you're right, everything you said, but I think that's the key, but is making that balance. Because if you really want it to sound right and make it, you can't fake it, and it has to come from somewhere authentic, you know. And it's just like, if it does, then you're doing it right, and you can't just, like, you know, it's like it's just there, and it exists, and it has to come out. And if it has to come out, then you're doing it right, and you just have to figure out how you're going to get it out and the right people to connect it with, and that might be us, you know. And it's like, if you know.
Yeah. Do you take, how do you build your roster? I know that there's a community side of things and everyone interconnects in certain ways, but do you allow people to pitch music to you guys, like, hey, check us out, or things like that?
Yeah, we have absolutely. That's a huge part of it. You know, we have that's a huge part of it. Like some of these people we've never even heard of, to be quite honest with you, you know. And it's like a lot of our family, a lot of our people that we've connected with are from like Australia, or international people, or like, you know, England. And I'm honestly, we still get submissions all the time. Yes, to answer your question, it's grandalliancemusic.com, and then you can go to the contact page, and then scroll down, and there's a submission page, or I think it's just grandalliancemusic.com, you know, / submit or something like that. But it is, I do have one of those weird brains, but no,
that's good. That's good. But I was curious about that, just because, you know, in order to have the growth factor, you know, and so are you the dude that's like curating that stuff too, and be like, this is good, this is maybe not to fit? And then if that happens, do you ever kind of reach back to people like, hey, this is not really the best fit because of this or that kind of, do you do all that stuff?
Sure, but it takes a team, right? But because I don't want to be that guy, but also, I mean, all the time, but like, I also like don't have time for that stuff too, right? Like, I have a family and a job. And the busier we get, or the more we do that, you know, the less we have time for all the other things that we love too, or the things that we're doing in our lives. But that's also how it started too, you know. And it's like connecting with people, or growing, or some people don't want that, you know. It's like, so it's like the services that you can offer too. It's like, but it's like, that's a huge part of what Ben does as well, and what he likes to do. But I bounce a lot of those ideas off of him too. It's like, what do you think of this? Because I'm not an expert by any means. I mean, I went to school for a lot of stuff, but it doesn't mean I'm an expert. Or, you know, just because you're a expert in one area, like a teacher or a, you know, an author or whatever, you know, doesn't mean you continue going to school for that. You know, it's like, there's always areas you can improve upon, or grow, or learn. And so I always ask him or whomever, it's like, what do you think of this? You know, it's like, or even if I love it or don't, it's like, am I making the wrong decision or the right? No.
Do you guys do different people do like the final mixes and masters of the stuff? Yeah. How does that work?
Man, what a great
a network of people too?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's a great question, because you kind of talked about that earlier, where there was like, and I was talking about services too, right. And you can like kind of take it different ways. And I didn't really kind of fully address that, where you were like talking about maybe putting not, it's like, okay, if someone maybe had a product that wasn't quite there, or that they weren't fully stoked on, or maybe even just wanted advice on something and they knew that, right? It's like there are certain, maybe that's me, it's like there certainly are, let's just say that is me, it's like there certainly are avenues about that you could do that, and to help, right? There's stem mastering, there's mixes and mastering, there's mastering at very reasonable rates that are beyond me, and I would certainly recommend them. Like I went to like school for audio engineering.
You do it. You engineer, you master the mixes. Oh, so you do that in your own studio.
I do that for me, and I mix my own music, but I would still send my own mixes out for other people to master my own mixes, like I would mix other people's, and then I would still have someone else master that, for $25 or something like that. And it's usually mastered by one person at this point, mm-hmm. His name's Wolfax. He's a great guy. In fact, I make music with him all the time. And we did that with Gravitas, but I mean, for $25, you can't go wrong. It's kind of like, I make an example of like a head chef at a restaurant, right? Is the head chef at a fine dining restaurant bringing you a plate of food? Like,
right. He's not.
No, it goes to the expo window, and the expo, crumbs it or whatever, she puts the garnishes on, and then the server comes and picks it up, and she's, makes sure that she gets the hot plate on, and then she smiles and brings it to you, and makes sure that she refills your water, and it passes through 3 or 4 hands. Like that's what the end process is. You're the chef as the creator. It's like you need someone to make sure the levels are there. You've heard it 3,000 times. You've made that dish 3,000 times. Like don't do it. Don't do it.
You know what? I'm going to tell you right now, having been in this business for 25 years, I've never heard a better analogy than that.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. I've never heard a better analogy than the way you just put it, dude. That was fucking brilliant.
Like, it's worth it to me to get double checked. Like,
it's super worth it.
Yeah.
And the cool part is, for people that are interested and want to get their stuff mastered or mixed by you guys, it's good to know you have all this stuff that's out there that they can use as reference. You don't have to be like, so can you send me a reference? Well, just go to grandalliancemusic.com and listen to anything you want pretty much. And here's the new compilation. Here's the new volume 2 that just came out. Listen to these. We master all of these, and they can get more than a good idea of. So that's brilliant.
Yeah, the easiest thing is like if when you're listening to a mellow track, even in that, because you'll hear it, because it goes from like hip hop to heavier stuff to 140 to, and even at the chill, it's like even you can DJ it in the same set and not have to mess with your master fader. That's the biggest ticket in the nice mastering there. You shouldn't have to mess with your master. If you're messing with it, something's wrong, So
you have a lot of these, you work with a lot of artists on the final masters of the products before they come out. You have a massive roster, even bigger set of releases, and apparently you have a lot full for 2025 already, with Bun's album just coming out.
I was gonna say, even though that's the case, we'll still listen to stuff. We're still planning for the future. Don't let that hesitate people from submitting or anything like that.
No, definitely submit. Especially, but what I would suggest to people that are watching this is go and listen to some stuff first. Go and listen to some stuff from Grand Alliance, and then you'll get the idea. You'll start to get a feel, and then you yourself as an artist or producer will be like, all right, cool. These are the kind of dudes. But then you can also read kind of like a little bit of history or like the mission statement really of Grand Alliance, and then you'll feel really you can feel if it's a good connection for you, and then you'll be able to submit. But I think that you guys, when it comes to being a part of the roster and releasing as a label kind of thing, that's the case. When it comes to mastering and stuff, you're an audio engineer, so even if you have rock stuff or whatever, you can submit to have your stuff mastered. That makes perfect sense. So the Buttons record just came out. Interlock 27 just came out, which is on. So Interlock 27 is on that record. Okay.
Yeah, a couple of into it. Yeah.
Right. So I definitely have to check that out. I wish Ben was here for this, but he's gonna watch this. Ben, you missed this, man. I think we talked enough about you to see we have the love for buttons here. And so, yeah, for real, dude, we love buttons here, dude. So what about like, I've noticed that in terms of the site itself, but also when you guys release stuff on YouTube and stuff, there's a lot of particular visuals some of the time that go along with some of the releases, like these really cool kind of I can't think like the name for what they call it, but like, they're kind of not tripped out, but slightly tripped out. You kind of get entranced by the visuals.
Okay.
But I noticed that for a number of releases you guys have done that. So is the visual aspect an important part of what you guys are doing too for you, or?
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say, talk to me about that. No, you did for sure. You did a great job about that. It's always been a very important part for us. I think, a very, very important part has been the audio visual part of it. Not only the album cover, but also how we're trying to interlace the visual side of it. You'll see dating back from the first release, there's been visualizers and videos and just how we can interconnect the multimedia stuff. Buttons was our very first release with Watch Me, which just passed 20K.
Yes. As soon as you start digging around on the site, you get the vibe that you're putting out. And dude, you got to understand that's important because you put thought, you and Ben both put thought into that, to being able to put that out there in terms of people being able to capture it's right in your face. You can capture the vibe. You go to the site and you're like, you can kind of feel the warmth and the love. And it's like, yeah, dude. And then you listen to some of the tracks and you're like, dude, this stuff is all badass stuff. The production's always super tight. You can tell that there's a quality level for Grand Alliance musically, creatively, visually, audio wise. It's all right there. So I think that the key to doing this for you guys and having it work is obviously a whole bunch of stuff, but it comes down to overseeing the quality, release planning, visual. And when I say quality, I don't just mean the music. I mean the visual, the mastering, the levels. Everything is right in your face. And then also the rapid fire style releasing. Dude, look, not everyone can do that. You guys are managing to do that. And maybe in Australia, they're looking for shit like that. Maybe Australians can see that and are like, yeah, they get the vibe or something, and they're like, yeah. And they listen to a couple of tracks and like, oh, I want to submit to this. I want to be a part of that.
Because it takes time and effort and energy, and you can't just like be like, because it's like you got to go plan for it. It's like 4, 6, 8 weeks out in advance. It's not like you're just like, here it is. It's like, no, here it was. Like
here it went. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we're still going for it. Like here, it's a planned thing. Like you're saying, it's there for a reason, because we have more coming. Yeah. And it's coming quick for a reason, because there's more coming, and the only reason is because there's more coming, and we got to make space for that because there's more coming, and there's more coming. And
is there more coming? That's what I want to know.
There's only so much more to go, and there's only so much calendar year, man. Like, it's crazy.
Badass.
I can't believe it. When I look at more at the calendar, I'm trying to squeeze these releases in. It's like, how the fuck am I going to do this? Because there's like, oh, yeah, it's just insane, dude. Like, I'm trying to get all these promos and press releases in, and give them all this love that they deserve, and I just can't, and I want to, but man, but it's amazing too, because I'm able to. I think we're able to give to. I think it's that balancing we talked about, and it's really a fine line, but it's also it's amazing. Whatever the hell's happening really seems to be working for now.
Go with the flow. I think you and Ben are going with the flow, and you guys are just doing. For you personally, as a kid and growing up through your years of doing music, if I were to ask you, and I might not know some of these guys, but if I were to ask you what your top 5 musical influences are of all time, who would you tell me? Yeah, take a minute. Think about that one. It's tough.
My top 5 musical influences of all time.
Yeah, when were you like, oh shit, I want to do that? They don't have to be in order.
Okay. Man,
I'm so sorry. No one likes this question. I don't know why I keep asking it. But it's so interesting to me, though. It's stuff that I want to know. So I want to ask questions I think other people want to know.
Okay.
Because you're a musician. You're an artist, dude. Not just a label owner. You don't just do you're an artist first.
I I feel like I want to go through like my iTunes or something and go back into the history of time. Roy Hargrove, I'll say.
Okay.
I know you don't know that one. It's okay.
I don't.
Like Roy Hargrove and like Herbie Hancock, like really,
Oh yeah.
Because my parents like got me going on jazz, like I'd say. So those guys, like just in my house, like, especially I got Roy Hargrove tattooed on my body, and I got to see him play a few times before he died.
Wow.
I've seen Herbie a bunch too. As far as like electronic music, I mean, honestly, people like Michael Menert and stuff like really changed my life. I weirdly enough got to be, be in his band and stuff. I just like things in my life just, it got to fall that way.
Wow.
But, man, I'd really have to like think, I guess, like Soul Live, I guess I keep going like back to jazz and stuff like that. But like,
that's cool. Hey, look, I got Billie Holiday tattooed on me. So
yeah, exactly. Right. That's a great one. I'm trying to give a good like electronic one that I've been like really into lately. All my electronic artists, I swear, like changed by the day, because I hear like, hundreds of songs every day. I'm just like drawn into like all these elements. I swear, like I could keep, just like going into like even people that submit to me. I swear, I'm just like, ooh, like, a guy that we're about to release in like, August or whatever later in this year. I'm just like, it's like that's one of some of my new favorite music. It's like a lot of this underground bass music. It's like that's all I really listen to. So it's hard to say what I'm.
You, Wildebeest, as an artist, I think that I wanted to touch on the kind of stuff that you're diving in and out of and things like that. And I have asked that question. And believe me, I've had people hold on, let me pull up my Spotify, and they do it. They look up their Spotify. Oh yeah, that's right. And they do that. I've had that happen.
Yeah. I mean, like in high school, I was in, ska and punk bands, and we took it far on Warped Tour, and then I did like orchestral music and
wow,
all that kind of stuff. But in college, I was gonna say, but yeah, we did all sorts of things. But I went all. I was in college too. Back out here on the West Coast, we did. I had another soul funk kind of band for many years. So yeah, no, there was a lot of things that went on in the musical world, even pre Wildebeest. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, but it all shaped into something. You know? That's
Mm-hmm.
very, very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this, dude. It's been awesome. This is like a super pleasure. We're sorry Buttons couldn't be here, everyone, but everyone can check out. Don't worry, Ben. Everyone can. We talked a lot about you, Buttons, but we can definitely check out his new record that just came out yesterday. And I really appreciate you, Will, taking the time to do this with me. I cannot thank you enough.